Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and vampires. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by the succubus, Darrian.
That's me. I'm a succubus, prepared to be seduced.
And the totally human, Teddy Chinaris. Oh no. Teddy. I knew he shouldn't have wandered around those dark alleys without his turtleneck. Well, guess he's not on this one. So Darrian, what are you going to be for Halloween?
So this is a problem I've had this year. I cannot commit to any ideas. So I think I'm just gonna be a furry this year.
What does that entail?
I'm gonna put these ears on.
And then just walk around.
That's it.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna make my little sister pick out my costume.
Okay, that's better somehow.
What about you? What are you gonna be for Halloween?
I will probably be working till stupid o'clock on Halloween because it's on a Wednesday. And B, nothing.
You can't dress up at work?
I mean, technically I'm already dressed up.
I mean, in the costume.
No, I cannot dress up. For Christmas, the last delivery,
you can be Santa.
the last delivery day before Christmas, I will wear a Santa hat.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, which one of the places I go to was like, do they make you wear that? And I'm like, no, I bought this myself. And they're like, oh, you seem like not the kind of person who would wear that. And they're like, here you go. Goodbye.
Here, have your package. I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, I think it's just that, like, I'm very much like, I am doing this job like as quickly as possible so that I can go home and live my life. And any interaction with you makes this take longer.
Right.
So funny hat doesn't really make it take longer unless you comment on it and then it's negative, but I'm still gonna. I think I ended up losing my Christmas hat in the move, but it was a little bit itchy, so I'm just gonna buy a new one anyway. But yeah, I'm bringing it back. Darrian, can you tell me what video games are bringing themselves back into your game playing selection?
So,
also, Darrian, I love you as a podcast co-host, and I love how you have started right out the gate through the intro, been eating during the podcast, and I'm excited about the future of this. What more exciting things that will come from this? What can you tell our both viewers and listeners what kind of things you're enjoying?
Frooties. It's a mixed assortment of Frooties. They're the Fruity Tootsie Roll things. There's a grape one I'm about to put in my mouth.
Can I ask that you don't?
You can.
Are you? Is this just okay? Pretty sure there's a grape fruity in her mouth right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, hope this is, if you're into mouth noises ASMR, pop on those headphones and get ready to fall asleep because that content's coming regardless of any of my feelings.
Much to my chagrin.
So what games have you been playing?
I played a little bit of League of Legends.
Okay.
I also played a very little bit of Dead by Daylight. But I have mostly been playing Stardew Valley. Constantly.
How's that?
Really good. I love it. I love that game. I'm going to go play it again after this podcast. Unless this podcast lasts until 10 somehow, in which case I will be going to watch Halloween with my husband.
I mean, to be fair, it's starting quite late, so.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it'll be that long.
Okay. Well, then I guess I guess I'll get into my game so that Darrian can go to her movie. I have so it's Spookoween, as we all know. It's the Halloween time. Thus, the vampires are out murdering Teddy as you know they do. They've got one target every year, and it's always Teddy. It's weird how that works out. But as part of Spookoween, I have been streaming Dead Space on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/lastgeekplays. I have just finished Dead Space 1. It's very good, except the 0G sections. Those suck. Literally, I had a death counter up, and anytime there was a section that was 0G, that death counter just went up. Like, several. It was the only time I really died. Because I've been Dead Space 1 before, so many of the, like, tricks where the necromorphs would, like, play dead or kind of do things that would throw me off. Also, I wasn't so, like, careless with my ammo, at least for early on. I think I was, because I hit a point where I was like, I've got so much ammo, and then, like, the later points I was like, I wish I had more ammo, because I hit a point of like, oh, I'm very good at this game, and then it was like, oh no, it was easier. I was playing on medium. But yeah, 0G, it was just a matter of, like, due to the fact that you could literally go anywhere, I thought that I had, like, oh, I just need to do this, but they had a different plan in mind that had you jumping around in ways that weren't extremely clear. So yeah, the 0G sections suck. I want to say that the Dead Space 2 either doesn't have 0G sections or has less of them and or better of them. I just know Dead Space 2 is like better in basically every way. Also, like, Isaac doesn't really talk in Dead Space 1, and I know he talks in 2 because he's all like, hey, you guys, I saw that, like, I went through this before. You guys need to not, it's gonna go bad. Like, he's all, like, warning and stuff, whereas in Dead Space 1, everybody was talking to Isaac. And as a general rule, games where the protagonists talk, much better than games where they don't, because I think it makes me care about the character more if I actually hear them talk. And
games where the protagonist is the only person not talking.
Yeah.
Because there are games where there's not voice acting.
Yeah. But yeah, when everybody's talking to your character, it literally makes me feel like they're just nothing. So they died, who cares? But if they can make me feel like, to make me feel about the character, they need to have a character, which requires them having a voice. So yeah, them having a voice in 2 is good. I also downloaded the port of The World Ends With You for my Switch. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't love the touch controls. It almost feels like I would want a stylus for it, which I'm sure you could probably get a stylus that'll work with the Switch. But it's a lot of, like, clicking on things or swiping things or whatever to do your moves. But because it's on Switch, they offer a docked control option, and it's really, really bad. It's basically, you have to use your Switch as, like, a Wii mode of, like, pointing at the screen and trying to do those same motions that you were doing with your finger on the screen. And most of the time, the Switch, the Joy-Con, was becoming inaccurate very easily. I had to keep, like, recentering it. And then even if it was working right, I was not able to just, like, draw a line as easily as I could with my finger, trying to use the Wiimote. I also played a Mario Party. I don't know if I said that one last time, but that's the game I played. And what's the last one on my list? Oh, Kentucky Route Zero. I was just playing that earlier today. It's this kind of short. It's got 5 chapters. I was able to complete 2 of them already. I would say I was knocking them out about an hour a chapter, so it's probably about a 5-hour game. And it's kind of weird and a little bit spooky. I will say, I watched a video on Polygon that was like, why is The World Ends With You great? They spoiled something right out the gate. Do not watch that video if you have not played it, because right out the gate, they're like, you need to survive 7 days to win the Reapers game in The World Ends With You, and your character, I guess, has amnesia, which is good as like that way all the other characters can explain to you what's going on. Like, what's the Reapers game? What's going on? What's this? And everybody else is like, do you not know? And you're like, I don't know nothing. But obviously the player doesn't know anything. But yeah, so they're like, you gotta survive 7 days. I think I'm about day 3 or 4. So I'm early on, and I have a feeling at the pace I'm going, the game lasts past 7 days. But yeah, I watched a thing on Polygon of like why the game's so great, just because like, oh, I've been playing a little bit, like let me see what exciting like what do they love about it. And it was like, oh, here's this thing that you don't know yet. And it's like, what? No.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, bad move, Polygon. But oh yeah, so Kentucky Route Zero is a really interesting game. It's got a cool style to it, and there's a lot of like, it's got a lot of weird moments where like there's characters like disappearing, like you'll go interact with somebody and like screen, you'll move or the screen will change and they'll be gone. There's a really cool thing where a lot of times you'll talk to like as the 2 characters that you control. You'll be talking to characters, but at one point I was in an area and all the dialogue options were about the people I was talking to. Like I was basically choosing the dialogue options about them talking to somebody else about my characters. So it does a lot of like interesting story stuff. I'm really interested to see where the story goes. Also, it's got some like old-timey country like style music to it, and they're like, it's got a really good soundtrack. It's really spooky. I'm really digging the vibe. It's very slow paced. Like I would don't be prepared to be like, oh, I'll just go here and do this. It's very much like they like to give you the runaround. They like to have you kind of go slow about it. But so far I'm intrigued to see where it goes. And so my plan was, because I just beat Dead Space 1, tomorrow this is recorded on Monday, Spider-Man's first DLC comes out. So I was going to play that, the Black Cat DLC. And once I finish that, switch over to Dead Space 2, knock that out before the month is over. But I was playing this as a little in between. So that's the games I've been playing. Time to talk about the news. Darrian, can you tell me about some news?
Of course I can.
Okay,
so the first little bit of news that we've got today is that the PSN online ID change feature, is entering the PlayStation Preview program soon.
Which is like a beta.
It's like a beta. You had to have been pre-registered, so like knowing this information, you can't enroll now to test out that feature. You just have to wait till it's available to everybody else.
2019.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay, I'll just let you do your thing.
During the preview program, you're going to be able to change your ID as many times as you want. The first change is free, and then after that, it'll cost $9.99 USD slash. Do you just CAD? I don't.
Canadian dollars.
Yeah, it's Canadian dollars, but anyway, otherwise, PlayStation Plus members get it for $4.99 instead, and it can be reverted at no cost. You are able to have the option to display your previous ID with your new ID so your friends know who you are. But if you choose to, you right away, you decide to do that or not. And if you do or do not, you can't change it afterward. So if you decide to display your old name, that'll be forever. It's going to be compatible with PS4 games published after April 1st, 2018, and a majority of most well-played PS4 games before that date, but a lot of games and apps from PS4, PS3, and PS Vita aren't guaranteed to support the ID change. So you might see like glitches and things like that. You might see errors. With those issues, you can revert your ID, but then I think you'll probably be charged to change it a second time. If you do that, so the feature is scheduled to conclude. The preview program for this feature is scheduled to conclude at the end of November 2018, and the full rollout of the feature to all PS4 owners is planned for early 2019. So that's exciting. I gotta change my shitty name.
Oh, I don't know what yours is. I'm sure are we PlayStation friends?
Probably. Yeah. I use my Facebook to display my stuff. I don't use my username.
Yeah, I kind of I wish there was a way to like not display. I want that displayed to other people, to my like friends, but not shown on my own thing for like when I'm streaming. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that doesn't. It seems like if you use it at all, it's going to show up as your real name. But then again, like I basically use my full name on like Twitter and stuff, so I guess. Mm-hmm. But I kind of understood the issue of why they were having such trouble because of like the fuck up they did when they were first making the PlayStation Network. But it wasn't until now that I realized that basically because of the way that they did it, games were coded a certain way, and they basically had to talk to game developers to get them to like redo it. And that's probably why it's taken so long, is that them having to go to game developers and go like, how'd you code your thing? Is the way that your thing could work with name changes, and that's probably been the hard part of why it's taken so long.
That makes sense.
So that is an exciting bit from a online service. But there's another online service that's got some news about video games, and it's Nintendo. Nintendo has added new games to their NES Games on Switch Online service. As we know, when they originally launched the online service, they had 20 games in their original lineup, all NES games. And they've added 3 more, well, sort of 4. So they've added NES Open Tournament Golf, Solomon's Key, Super Dodgeball, but they've also added a special version of The Legend of Zelda targeted to make it easier for modern gamers, new gamers to get to play Legend of Zelda, because that game is very hard. And it is a save data that will let people start with the white sword, the magical shield, the blue ring, and the power bracelet, which are all things that'll make you stronger and make it easier for you to play the game. So there's a lot of people who probably maybe tried playing the Zelda once they got Switch Online and bounced off. But they added this new save of like, hey, here's some stuff, make it a little easier for you, play the game. Like they'd rather have people play the game, like they're making it available. Like they understand, hey, that was a different time. Games were a lot harder, but with this thing, they can make it easier. And I think
people are way worse at video games now. We get that.
No, people just don't have the amount of time to just bash their head. They're not kids anymore. Where literally all games were just played by kids who had unlimited free time. But supposedly Nintendo is looking and offering more of these games, which will offer new entry points to fan favorite games. Which I'm not sure what other games will. Contra. Contra is a game that you cannot beat without the Konami code. Like, I mean, some people can, but like, it is notoriously hard. The Konami code, like, basically is so well known because of how hard Contra is. I'm sure if they get Contra on there, it's probably going to have like bonus lives, like a special save version like that with bonus lives built in. Other than that, I can't think off, although I'm not super well knowledgeable about the NES library to be able to tell you which games would be best suited for special saves. But it's cool that Nintendo recognizes that, hey, these games were hard, and like, hey, here's an option to play it a little bit easier. People who want to play the harder version, the normal version still available, but they offer this new one there too for other players. Speaking of something new, the Xbox One is bringing new avatars to their service. Everybody probably is aware of the old avatars, which you have dressed up as Mr. Halo and
Mr. Halo?
Mr. Halo.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And the RoboCop man and all the different characters. They like were cool. Like I remember scrolling through the friends list and it would just be like everybody's avatar with like crazy stuff, like riding dragons and having crazy swords because they like bought this stuff to dress up their avatar. They have released a new avatar system, which is a little bit more detailed, a little bit more interesting looking than the old avatar system. And I'm sure we'll see additional clothing and stuff like was available back in the day for these avatars as well. But they look pretty cool, I will say that. So this came in a new update. I will note that the new update also introduces support for, let me just mute mine, Amazon Alexa, Cortana, and Dolby Vision HDR.
But no Siri?
Not that I see. So if you've got a Amazon Alexa, you can say, turn off my Xbox, and then like it'll be connected and
you
do
could
that.
Say, hey Alexa, troll Bryce.
Well, I just muted it, plus you coming through my headphones.
I'm in headphones, so. Yeah, I know.
You can't get me like that. You can't do it. So that's a cool thing. Speaking of stuff you can buy from a store, because you'll probably be able to buy clothing from the store. If I said that right before I transitioned, this would have been a better transition, but I didn't do that. Imagine I did that. Open your Mindscape. Everybody listening to this podcast, close your eyes unless you're driving a car. Then like close one eye and enter the Mindscape and enter the dream that I had just made this dope transition about, hey, you'll be buying lots of cool clothes for your avatar in the store, but there's another store coming around that's going to have some cool stuff to buy, and it's the Discord store, which is now entered beta. Discord, the popular chat and voice service that all the cool streamer kids use and gamers in general is selling games now. Discord store is open to all users and has games from a variety of publishers. According to the company, the store is set to focus on publishing users less, providing users. I don't know. They're going to be doing game releases, including Celeste, Frostpunk, and Into the Breach, and Dead Cells, as well as having first on Discord games, which means they will have timed exclusive on certain games, available only to be purchased through the Discord store, as well as if you have Discord Nitro, which is their premium service because Discord's free normally, which normally would allow you to use your emotes on other servers. I can't even remember. Like, I remember seeing it and just going like, what? Why would anybody care? But now it's going to offer you some free games along with the services Discord Nitro is already giving you, and that's going to cost you $10 a month. Apparently, it's about 60 games you'll be getting with the Discord Nitro service. And all of these games will be able to be launched through the Discord library, which allows players to launch all of their games through Discord regardless of where they purchased. And that was a service that we saw launched a while ago and kind of foreshadowed this. When you saw that they were kind of allowing you to launch things through their service, you could probably be like, there's probably a reason for this. They're probably going to get into something with that. And that was the case. Now, you can buy your games from Discord, or you can go over to Loot Crate and buy your games from Loot Crate service called Loot Play. Loot Crate is offering a service called Loot Play for $10 a month, which will offer a monthly digital subscription of indie games for PC players. If you got Humble Monthly, think something along that lines. It will begin with Crossing Souls, which debuted in winter and in July for the Nintendo Switch. They're partnering with Chrono GG to deliver this bundle. They said so they're going to come out with Crossing Souls. The other 4 games that you'll be getting have not been mentioned yet, keeping with the mystery aspect of Loot Crate. But yeah, this is one of many services that seem to offer that like monthly games for a price, like Humble Bundle monthly. PlayStation Plus gives you that. Xbox One gives you that. There's many services that do this, and Loot Crate's dipping their toes to see if they can get something there. But this isn't a game that you're going to be able to get through Loot Play, or possibly at all, at least not for free. Fortnite, Save the World mode. Tell me about that, Darrian. It's a beautiful transition. Everybody clapped. Everybody in their car, home, and life just were like, best transitions this episode. Top tier. We're all on your team. They made jerseys and they say Bryce's team, and they're the best.
Bryce. You're so amazing.
Fortnite.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Fortnite's a thing.
Tell me more.
Okay, so they who makes them? Epic?
Yes.
Epic Games?
Yes.
Epic Games delayed the free version release of Fortnite Save the World until into 2019. Currently, the mode can be purchased for $40, $39.99 for the Founders Pack.
I went to their service, like I saw the thing that said, "Hey, it's on sale," but I couldn't see how much it was normally. I assume it's
according to this, that's like 50% off.
So it's normally 60, or I'm confused.
No.
Because it's $39.99.
Says
but
the game will be available for 50% off for a limited time. However, that's that. That's the sentence.
Okay. So fun fact, I tried going to Amazon to find a physical copy of the game to compare the price to. Guess how much it's going to cost you if you want a physical copy of Fortnite on PS4 from Amazon.
How did this happen?
I'm guessing that it's got an exclusive skin or something, and people are like, "Hey, you want this exclusive skin from the physical version of Fortnite? Well, you're gonna have to pay $300."
Includes the Storm Master weapon pack.
Which seems like something that the weapon pack seem like something that would only be exclusive to the single player, the Save the World content, which is weird. But yeah, I can't.
Yikes!
I can't figure out exactly how much of a discount that is. But yeah,
there's only one left in stock. Should I get it?
Do it. Yeah, I'm sure you can't go to GameStop and probably find that exact thing. But
No.
One of my coworkers told me that like they bought Fortnite like when Fortnite multiplayer started becoming a thing, and they're like, "Oh, I bought Fortnite for my kid," and I was like, that's free, right? Because nobody like was like, "Oh, I'm excited to play Fortnite Save the World." Nobody was getting Fortnite at the time for Save the World. I will say, when it Save the World first came out, I was hearing cool things about it. I also heard, hey, it's going to be free to play in a few months. But I think once they saw the success that they did from the PvP version, the just normal Fortnite at this point, which is so weird that like that is now just Fortnite. Like they changed it from, hey, Fortnite PvP, they basically rebranded their original game to like the bonus content. This is the bonus content. The full content, the normal content, is the PvP, which we made later. But I feel like that like completely changed their plans for the game. And like everything like release and stuff. But I hear that the Save the World version is a good way to get V-Bucks. Because playing that will get you some of that currency that'll allow you to buy skins and stuff. I also hear it's just kind of fun to play. Like it's a lot different as like you're fighting zombies, and it's actually kind of a mode that I would want to check out. And I was always waiting for it to go free, because that was the original plan. But who knows? I have a feeling that we're not going to see it go free to play until they start seeing start to see numbers drop, and they're going to release it free to play as a like way to try and bring people back in. That's my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything else about that?
I mean, I think it's frustrating that they keep pushing it back, because I know that Epic is just rolling in money and they don't fucking need it. But, that's fine.
Well, here's some news from another company that's got an amount of money. Zombie Mario is coming to Super Mario Odyssey. It's a new outfit. Mario is a zombie now. And here's the reason I bring this up is, why is Nintendo killing off the Mario Brothers? First they killed Luigi in the Smash Brothers announcement, and now they've killed Mario and he's a zombie. Mr. Nintendo, why? Did they wrong you? Is there something we should know? Why do you want these boys dead? Why are you murdering the Mario brothers? And now you've revealed that Peach was actually a Toadette the entire time. I had the whole Mario Kingdom's got some great shakeups, and maybe have we checked that maybe Bowser has not taken over the Nintendos? Did we ask? Have we consulted with anybody?
I don't think anybody asked, no.
No. We should, next time we see Mr. Nintendo, we should see if his back is really spiky. And also, his name is Bowser. Well, Mario's dead. And speaking of something that's coming back from the dead, a bad console from Intellivision's coming out that Darrian's excited about. Tell me about that. I'm forecasting my lack of excitement about this console from the get-go.
Okay, well, I'm not sure if it's like Amico or no. It's okay. So Intellivision is the company that's making it, and they're making the
Intellivision, aren't they the Atari people? I want to say they're the Atari people. Yeah.
At least in the preview, they definitely are remaking old Atari classics to put on this console.
Yes.
So they've got, I think it's called Amico or Amico.
Probably Amico.
I think it's Amico. That would make the most sense.
The last one sounded right also.
Amico?
Sure. I think that was the middle one.
Okay, anyway.
Amico? Oh.
Amico, I like that one.
Okay.
Amiibo!
Yep.
But Amico. Anyway. They're making a new console called the Amico. They did make the first video game, or no, not the first video game console. Hello, my name's Darrian, and I'm making shit up.
As everyone loves on their news shows.
They first released the Intellivision itself. It was a home video game console that launched in 1979. And they're going to release the new one, the Amico, and it's going to have a full-color touchscreen on each controller, and the expected release date is October 10th, 2020. The projected cost of the console for you to purchase would be between $149 and $179, and each game is going to be between $2.99 and $7.99, and it will not have DLC or in-game purchases. Like, you're going to pay $8 or less for the game, and that's it. It's also going to launch with several built-in titles, and there's going to be more than 20 games in their online store at launch. Looking at the list, they're like remaking a bunch of old Intellivision titles. They're doing a bunch of Atari titles. They're also providing some iMagic titles, and then some other like classic.
They got Toe Jam and Earl on there.
Yeah, Toe Jam and Earl, which I don't know what that actually is, but Twitter loves it.
Yep, they love Toe Jam. Now, Darrian, are you familiar with Pong?
Yes.
How much would you pay for the video game Pong?
$3.
Well, good, because it's going to cost at least $3 because that's what they did. And I could not tell you that I would pay $3 for Pong or Centipede and also why. Okay, so you can also hook up to 6 other players with a smartphone app. And honestly, this seems like just a fancy way to release old Atari games. And it's like, it can do all these things, but you're not going to need to. It's Atari games with a fancy white console. And
I think that's why I like it.
But it costs
it's
$150. So I see this crashing and burning in epic ways.
Well,
Yep.
I don't know. I like the idea of it, I guess.
Lots of ideas are good, but this one's the Intellivision making a new console with Atari on it, or with Pong on it. So, okay, this is our last news story of the week. And so there's been, due to a interview with Rockstar's big man, Dan Houser, the Rockstar co-founder, Dan Houser. They were doing a interview about the script and all the kind of things involved in the game, and he mentioned the comment of they've been working 100-hour weeks. And basically that became the headline of basically like, wait, you're making everybody work 100-hour weeks to make this game, which brings to like there's an issue in video game development called crunch, where when a game gets close to release, because games don't release when they're done, they say, hey, we're expected to come out this time, and when it gets close to that time, they basically go, well, this is when we said we're going to come out, so we need to, get this done. So they basically have everybody work insanely long hours to try and finish up the game in time. And that period's called crunch. So people were like, so wait, you're doing crunch at 100 hours a week? And if you don't know, assuming they're coming in every day of the week, that's 14 hours a day. Which I've worked 14 hours a day. Would not recommend. It's for my job, that is legally the most amount of hours you can work. You can't work over 60 hours a week for my thing. So that'd be way more than that, but obviously they have an office job, so programming for 100 hours a week no one's gonna die from that. It's not a safety issue. After that became the big headline, Dan Houser came back to kind of respond to the situation, and he said, there's been some confusion arising with my interview with Harold Goldberg in New York Magazine. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Robert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had to, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work that when we wrapped everything up, 3 weeks, not years, we all worked together for at least 12 years now and feel that we need to get everything finished. After so many years of getting things organized and ready for this project, we need to check and finalize everything. More importantly, we obviously don't expect anyone else to work this way. Across the company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about a project or their particular work. And we believe that passion shows in the games we release. But that additional effort is a choice, and we don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this. Lots of other senior people work in an entirely different way and are just as productive. I'm just not one of them. No one, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard. I believe we go to great lengths to run a business that cares about its people and to make the company a great place for them to work. So when they said we're working 100 hours a week, he was referring to the senior writing team. And I have the other article from GameIndustry.biz where people looked at the number of hours that were clocked in the system and said that the average work week was between 42 and 46 hours a week. And the work week length peaked at mid-July when the average work week was 50 hours, with 20% of the employees reported working 60 or more hours, up to 67.1 hours. It should be noted that everybody is getting overtime, so it's not, you're not working these extra hours for nothing. You are getting paid extra. That said, like, 60 hours a week is still a lot. That is like not great. And I appreciate they're saying you're not forced to, but there is a thing of if everyone else is working these hours, and especially the way the game industry works, where literally you will see game companies shut down and like especially with like Telltale shutting down, and like a few people got to keep their jobs longer, and they're probably going, well, maybe if I work longer, maybe if I seem like a more valuable part of the company, if layoffs happen, I'll survive. So they don't want to seem like the lazy person in the company, because if there's layoffs, they feel like they'll be the first to go. So if their bosses are working, they're probably going to feel obligated to work as well. And I think like even in my job that like some people have very long days and some other people will have shorter days, and like having just a 8-hour day, I will see people giving me shit of like, oh, you're only like, you have such an easy day. And it's like, this is what it should be. We should all have 8-hour days. Like, it's just because one people like on everybody should be working 40 hours. It's not, hey, it could be worse. It's, and I've always been about that personally, of like, some people will be like, it could be worse, and I'll always say it could be better. Like, let's improve. Let's not just go, oh yes, it could be worse, because yes, everything could be worse, but why not strive for the best? People are saying like, I've also seen horror stories from years back where people have had issues, but I mean, company cultural change. So don't want to blame past or like current Rockstar for past Rockstar's actions, because there was a guy who got like written up because he called in sick. But that was many years ago. So I'm not going to blame this Rockstar for that Rockstar's actions, because probably entirely different people running the company. But yeah, this is a very mixed bag. I don't think if you're thinking, oh, Rockstar's working their people to death, 100-hour weeks, it seems that's not the case. These higher ups made the choice of, we're going to do this. Everybody else is working way less hours, but it still seems like there was a crunch. Like, people were still working 50, 60 hours a week, which is still not amazing. And I guess that's a problem in the industry in general. And I think we'll have to see if there's anything to be done about that down the road. But I think the Rockstar story did get a little bit overblown by the media. But that's all the news for the week. It is time to do some shoutouts. Darrian, can you do the thing?
Yeah, so Last Geek has launched a Patreon to help make great content like this podcast. For the low price of $5 a month, you can get a shout out on every episode of Ready Set Gamecast, like Aaron C. and I don't know if the Z is supposed to be silent, but Dragon Z Lucas. I know that usually Teddy calls him either Dragon or Lucas.
I've usually heard him called Dragon Lucas, so I've never heard the Z.
Yeah, so I think the Z is silent anyway. So like those people did. They're
he
awesome.
He was here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here, but I would get sure. his quote. But whenever he hears this, he'll have to write in to readysetgamecast.com/submit and let us know his preferred nomenclature. Speaking of Ready Set Gamecast/submit, that is the place that you can go to respond to the topic of the show. This time we are talking about, are video games good for kids? Darrian, what do you think?
I guess I'm wondering what, like, What you mean by that?
I mean, I guess
Like general games or like specific games or like
well, I would go games in general, yes, because like yeah, I think like if you're picking like there's some I guess R-rated games that maybe not, but gaming in general, would you say the hobby of gaming good for kids?
I think like most things that kids can do, you know, like watching TV or like mostly also just watching TV actually. Most of the things kids do are usually okay, but you know, like video games as long as it's not a constant thing, like as long as it's you know, if it's limited. I can't figure out the word I'm trying to think of. Like
Monitored?
no, it's
Restricted?
no, moderation. Good in moderation. That's a good one. Close to what I think that's what I'm trying to think of. So like, you know, if you let the kids play video games in moderation, you know, you don't let them come home from school and then play video games until dinner and then play video games until bed. As long as it's like, you know, an hour or two of video games and then you have to do other things, I don't think they're bad necessarily.
Okay, what other things should they be doing?
I mean, they can be reading books, they can be outside. Like, as a kid, my parents made me be outside for a few hours before I got to come home and do anything.
Okay. That's just because they wanted some alone time. I didn't want to tell you, but they were making out.
I mean, yeah, maybe that's the case, but
Darren, go outside for a little bit. Why? Just do it.
Go outside. You can't be here right now.
Lock the door.
Oh no.
I revealed the dirty truth to you. Okay, go ahead. Like what? So just go outside and do what?
You know, play with your friends. Play imagination games.
Okay.
We'd ride our bikes all over the place and pretend we were the kids next door.
I thought you said weed for a second, but
No, we would. I mean, I did say weed, but
okay.
No, I mean there is studies that suggest though that like video games increase hand-eye coordination, so I feel like that's good for kids.
See, I think like I don't understand why video games are considered worse than like parents seem to have no problem having kids watch TV for long periods of time. Like TV is better. And I think it's just that like I just want to watch TV, so yeah, you can too, because it's their thing. But I would much rather have my kid play a video game because, like, reading skills. 90% of games are going to have some level of reading. Help you practice reading. Like, some games you can't even get through without knowing how to read, and that's going to give you practice. B, yes, hand-eye coordination. Obviously, using a controller is going to make you better at using, you know, your hands and all of those things. C, many video games have puzzle aspects to them, that you are literally learning how to do puzzle solving, and through that critical thinking. I would say that I have very excellent critical thinking skills, and think about it, I cannot think of any way I would have learned that other than video games, because you don't learn critical thinking through school or anything. They don't really have you do projects where you do critical thinking, but like video games very much teach you critical thinking, both through like the kind of puzzle. They'll like put you in a room and give you things and you have to think through, how do I solve this? And also just the aspect of every video game plays a little bit differently. So people who play video games a lot are able to critically look at the controls and learn how to play them. And I'll see a lot of people who go like, I've never played that game. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. And like I go, yeah, I haven't played many games either, but I'm able to kind of figure it out, and it's just because I've done that. And I think all that critical thinking skill is just something I've learned through video games, and that's helped me out in many aspects. I've been able to solve problems by kind of looking at what's available and kind of working my way back through that in ways that you have to do in many video games. Plenty of reading skills I've done from, especially like earlier games. They didn't have voice acting, so it is definitely a lot of reading, and then hand-eye coordination. So personally, if I had the choice of my kid watching TV or playing a video game anytime, I would honestly like. I would say that a video game can teach a kid much better than most things. Like, especially because it makes it fun to learn. So like I could see a game. I would rather play a game about a game where you learn Spanish than take a class about learning Spanish, because like gamifying it makes it fun to do. So, yeah, and then obviously there's games that like, they shouldn't be. Oh, also, I should note teamwork skills. Online play, something like Fortnite. Yeah, that's just like shooting, but like you're learning to communicate, you're learning to work as a team. Those skills obviously, translate into actual teamwork skills, leadership skills. So, I think that video games teach you a lot of very good skills, and that like obviously they shouldn't play every video game, but there are a lot of video games that are going to help a kid in the long run. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay,
All right.
that's good to know. So next time we're going to discuss, and this is inspired by the Rockstar story, is the way games are made unreasonable and unsustainable. What could and should be done? Send in your responses at readysetgamecast.com/submit. Darrian, we have our loyal.
Hold on. I just want to point out that you didn't put unsustainable. You put insatiable. Are the way games made unreasonable and insatiable? Like,
I stand by my words.
Sated.
I stand by my words. Anyway, we got our loyal listeners really respond to our calls for questions, comments, have sent so many in to us. Darrian, can you take us through them?
Yeah. So the first one is from Matt.
You gotta tell them how to do it.
You gotta do the thing. Okay, do you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite cat for us to read on the show. The first question is from Matt, and he says, if you had to choose one word to describe Teddy, what would it be? My one word would be absent.
Wow, that's just in general. Whenever you're thinking of Teddy, you're thinking absent.
I think Teddy, usually I think Teddy, not here, but I had to put that into one word, so absent.
Okay. I would say goofy. He's a very goofy boy. He's very memey. I've literally created a GIF of him doing a meme, doing a goofy face. And it's out there. I put it on Giphy, but I don't understand how Giphy works, and there's probably no way to find it in the world. But
do you have to put tags on Giphy?
Yeah, I think so, but I misunderstood the entire system. I'll maybe try and upload it again and learn how to do it good, but who knows? I was just like, Teddy Chinaris, here's a GIF of Teddy Chinaris, but then when I tried to search for it, I couldn't find it. So maybe I'll try again and do it good this time. Hey Darian, you're gonna make your movie because we're about done, and it's time to sweep up because it's housekeeping time. Go to race@gamecast.com for links to the podcast on all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and now we're on Spotify, the hit streaming service Spotify. We're there now. If you've been just holding your ear up to people's cars as they play it on their radio, you don't have to anymore. You've got Spotify and you can listen to us yourself there. You can click the follow button and then you'll get notified. I don't know how it works. That's not the service I use, but you can follow us on Spotify and then be able to get our content there. Also, the video version is on YouTube, youtube.com/lastgeek. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I help those kooky kids at Ready Set Gamecast get more people to listen to this podcast on their car so that when I'm walking out and about, I can hear the entire show because the cars keep driving by so fast. I only get bits and pieces, and I don't know if more cars were playing it. Maybe I could hear the whole episode. Well, if you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us get into more cars, and then they'll be listening to the podcast too, and you can hear the whole show. Also, it helps us grow and become more powerful. Darren looks so concerned. She's like, are we not? Is it what?
I was really concerned. I was like, oh man, I'm so ready to flex. And then it accidentally turned into a stretch, and now.
Oh. Well, while you're stretching, can you tell me where people can find you? And also yawning. Stretch and yawning. She's actually falling asleep at this very moment. Quickly, Darian, where can people find you?
Hurry! Okay. People can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and on my website, dexterity.com. That's DEXTERIDEE. Bryce, go!
Why'd you choose that username?
So, I was inspired by Dexterity Bonus, also known as Dodger, also known as like Press Heart to Continue. She is my number one inspiration. And so I was like, oh, Dexterity, that's really cool. I wonder if I can come up with something like like a stat or something that I care about. And then I was like, no, wait, like...
I'll just use hers.
Dexterity. Yeah, I'll just use hers. No, I was like, oh, my name's in there, Dexterity. I get it, it's me. So then I made it me.
Okay.
Also, I was really into, like, I just started a new Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about stats constantly, and Dexterity came up a lot. And I was like, that could be me. I could be Dexterity. And so now on all of my handwritten dungeon stats, Dungeons and Dragons stat sheets, instead of spelling Dexterity correctly, I spell it like my username.
How odd. Why are your hand writing your character sheets?
In first ed, we do it that way because it's easier.
People played first edition?
Yep.
That seems like a mistake.
Yeah, it's okay.
You can follow me at Last Geek on Twitter, at Last Geek Plays on Twitch, where I'll be playing Dead Space. Also, Extra Life is coming up in November. On the 3rd, I will be doing an 8-hour Extra Life stream. Beckers from Game It Corp has already said that she will play video games with me. I have not picked a start or end time, so that's why you should turn on notifications, and then you'll just know. Your phone will go beep beep, and then Bryce is doing a thing, and then you'll be ready. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, and I'm sure I will tweet about it once I have a better idea about the start time for that stream. And then on November 10th, Saturday, both of these are Saturdays, I will be doing a 24-hour stream for Extra Life. I'm going to be having guests stop by. I've messaged a bunch of people. We're going to have different stunts we're going to do based on the donations. We're going to do like every $10 donation, we're going to eat a Bean Boozled. Last year we did like $100. We're going to eat really gross baby food. I had to do it last year. Can confirm. Very gross. didn't love it, but you get to watch me do gross stuff. The year before, we got pied in the face. So a lot of cool stuff gonna happen. You should check out both those streams, twitch.tv/LastGeekPlays. And if you want to help me get to my goals, my goal this year is $500. You can go to lastgeek.com/extralife, which will take you to the donation page. And also, my Twitch stream is embedded on that page, so you'll find it all right there. Real easy to use. But also Instagram, Last Geek Plays, and Facebook, Last Geek. I occasionally use that. And lastgeek.com. Don't go there. It's a bad edit. And one day, when I least suspect it, I will update that website into something that doesn't look like garbage. Teddy's gone, but he'll be back. So you should follow him at Teddy Chinaris. And tell him that you like when he's on Ready Set Gamecast, and he should stop missing episodes. This has been the show, Darrian.
We did it.
Thank you for everybody for listening. Thank you to Aaron C. and Dragon Lucas for supporting us on Patreon to help us make this show possible. And we love you. Thank you, and see you again in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Bye.